It's so nice to create an environment at work where it's predictable, like you know what's expected, you know how to be your best self. And even if there's chaos in the world, with the government, with your family, with your children, whatever, you can go to work and know, oh my gosh, I can breathe a little deeper because they want me to be the best version of myself. So it's so great to hear Ted's story. So I've been at King Arthur Flour for 17 years. And I feel very fortunate because I've had very few careers, versus my colleague, one of my co-CEOs, Ralph. He gets up and talks about all the various places he's worked. And I've worked for Patagonia and King Arthur Flour. And my mom, before she passed away, would say to me, I'd be like, oh, I'm so lucky to work at King Arthur Flour. And I had little boys, and they want me to come to work and be the best version of myself and be as wacky and crazy as I am every day. I don't have to kind of come and look a certain way, act a certain way. And she said, I don't really think it's luck. I think you're really drawn to organizations that want that. They want really people who are going to show up and be really curious and imagine doing things differently. So whether it was Patagonia or King Arthur, I feel very lucky. And the company's been around for 227 years, a very long time. And we have been an ESOP for 20 years. So we're an employee-owned company, which is we're very proud of that. And we became a B Corp 10 years ago. And we're also a benefit corporation. So that's a whole lot of things that we are. But it just builds the foundation for us to kind of build this community within our organization. So our mission, our vision, is to build community and connections and kind of spreading the joy of baking. I wish that Karen would let me say our vision is to save the world through baking, because I think that we are trying to do that. But if we're not building that community inside, we're never going to do it on the outside. Employee-owned company. Every one of us bakers at heart. I love that we have a heart here. Again, connections and community through baking. Baking is such an activity that we can all do. Doesn't matter what color your skin is, doesn't matter who you voted for, doesn't matter where you went to college, you can all bake, and that's a beautiful thing. So right there, people coming into work at King Arthur Flour knowing that's our mission is very leveling and kind of just brings us all together, knits us together. Here's my little video, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. There should be a little arrow that will come up. Is there there's Wi-Fi in here, right? So it should just automatically come up. It did at my desk a few hours ago. Let's see if I go forward one. No. So if it doesn't work, it's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It worked at my desk. I encourage you all to go back and check out our website because it's a really great video. And we have a lot of great videos on our website. And this one in particular, they're various employees and how they show up, do their work, and build communities at work and out in their communities. It's very powerful. So I would encourage everyone to check it out. This is our homepage if you're looking for a job. I love this picture. This woman, Ellen Kitchell, she's actually Frank and Brinna Sand's daughter. Frank and Brinna owned King Arthur Flour. It had been in Frank's family for 5 generations, and she works at King Arthur Flour. So I think you just get a sense of kind of what we're all about right here. We want people to be better bakers. We want employees to be better employees. This is a great document, I think, that we created. We went through this process a few years ago. We have done the best place to work in Vermont since its inception. And early on, very few of us did it. So we were like #1 for 2 years. So there's no place to go but down after that, right? And people would be like, oh gosh, we're not first anymore. I'm like, who cares? It means there's lots of great companies in Vermont. Let's just try to make the list, because that's important. So we have spent, 11 years, 12, I think it's 11 years or so that we've been doing that. And 2 years ago, we got some really bad scores on things like, I feel like I can raise my hand and I'm not going to get in trouble if I say something controversial. I'm not sure that I trust my manager to tell me the truth. So we spent an entire year We invited people to join a task force. Anyone in the company that wants to come, we're going to meet. We're going to start going through this data. Because if you don't do anything with it, right, it doesn't really matter. But it's really good data, whether it's the B Corp assessment or it's the best place to work survey. Really good data that you can learn about what's working and what's not working, bless you, in your environments. So we had a task force of, let's call it 40 people signed up. We're a company currently of around 400 people. When I joined 17 years ago, we were 125. And we spent the better part of 9 months going deep with that data, going out in the community, trying to seek to understand how can we improve some of this stuff. And lo and behold, those scores improved in those particular areas, which was really helpful. In addition to that, we spent a lot of time with an outside person who came in and really tried to get at our culture, because a company 17 years ago with 125 people versus a company of 400 today, there's things about your culture that are not as good as they used to be, one might say, right? So we as an organization of every employee owner came to the table and talked about our culture. What makes it important? What do we have to make sure we never lose sight of? Let's bring that forward. And out of that, we created this document, which I think is very cool. We still haven't gotten it painted yet on the walls. I'm like, when are we going to get it up so we can, like see it right in front of me? I love our culture is special, and like sourdough must be nurtured to bring out the best in everyone. If anyone in here is a sourdough baker, you usually throw some sourdough away, so don't think of that. We don't throw anyone away with sourdough. We're authentic, we care and support each other. Again, just building on kind of what Ted is doing in his environment. We're passionate about baking. Inquisitive, transparency. We share everything with the employees with the exception of everyone's compensation, but everything else is shared. Every month, every question, and Ralph, Karen, and I stand up in front of the organization every month and take very difficult conversations, difficult questions, and we answer them authentically. One month, our business was a little flatter, a little slower than we wanted it to be, and however it was portrayed, there was someone sitting in the front seat, Liz. The next month, she said, I don't feel like you guys were honest. I think it was a tougher month than you actually portrayed. And we were able to kind of say, way to go, thank you for calling us out on that, because you're right. We did make it sound like it was better than it was. So again, I think we really are striving to have people show up and want to be curious, want to make it a great place to work. There's another line in here that I really love. Where is it? I think it's like, we're psyched to come to work. I get a little grief on that one too. Because people are like, really? I'm not always psyched to come to work, but overall, I am pretty psyched to come to work every day, even if there's good skiing or it's raining and I want to stay home or I want to go do something else. I'm really pretty psyched to come into work. We've talked a little bit about that. Talked about all of this stuff already. A great picture of our warehouse. People working really hard, sending packages out. This we stole from Gardner Supply, and I love this too. Because they're an ESOP, and we saw theirs. As an ESOP, an employee-owned company, there's a document that is shared quite broadly called Your Rights and Your Responsibilities. And first of all, just those words I struggle with a little bit. Like, it's not the way I speak necessarily. And then I'm like, I love this. Well, what if I learned more about myself? Because I am a big fan of, I can help people be themselves if they're learning more about themselves every day. And then what if we collectively kind of did this work together? And it's been quite cool, because we talk about this every month at town meeting. This is the slide that we open up with, and we ask people to share examples. Give us some examples of where you've seen this in action, where you yourself have kind of have worked on this. You're trusting and supporting, things like that. So it's just it's a great piece for our organization. And we just had our party a week or two ago, because in October is a National ESOP Month. And so we had a party where we announced our stock price, we announced our B Corp score, we announced how much money we fund and we put into the ESOP accounts and profit sharing and all these things, and told people this number. We have this great kind of guessing game where we have, people can guess how much money. And then it tells us, okay, there's an opportunity to do some education there, because no one even came close to that number. So we need to do some education on that. And it's just a great group of people to work with. And again, that's my community. I feel so grateful to work there, and it's a little sad for me that we have so many employees because I don't know all of the employees anymore. But still, I feel like we as a company are making a lot of people's lives a lot better every day. So that's it. Thank you.